Stay tuned, you're watching CTV News, made for students, by students.
Coming up on CTV, new developments of the pool party that made national news.
Also, a rare glimpse into the historical artifacts left over from World War I. And we'll take a look at the aftermath of Hurricane Irene. CTV News starts now.
Welcome to our first Wednesday news show of the year. I'm Kelly Robinson.
And I'm Lena Halland. This semester we've got a great show planned for you with Melanie Rose in the Weather Center and Ryan Hillman on sports.
They'll be joining us later, but first, even though last weekend's infamous pool party is over, social media continues to push the story. After reaching national levels of media attention, officials are feeling pressured to act. Currently, police are close to citing the organizers of the party. Fort Collins Interim Police Chief Jerry Shiger stated that they are currently in the process of citing the apartment complex with a nuisance party citation. Shiger went on to say, "We do believe that the party fits the statute. Some of this is logistics and how to serve it, but we are moving in that direction. We're working towards citing the complex or the corporation." Rams athletics are also feeling the effect of this party, as 2 football players could receive punishment from Coach Fairchild for being involved in a fight. Donators are expressing frustration and threatening to pull out of their deals with the university's athletic programs. A 911 call was also released, and it provides some information about the fight between the bouncers and one of the football players. Let's take a listen.
Big Al.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi, we need 911 here at Rams Point.
Man, we have cops everywhere around Rams Point. We're working on it. Are you calling about the party?
Yeah, there was a huge fight. I'm part of security, so we need dispatch here as soon as possible. I know there's a bunch outside. Pardon?
Where's the fight?
The fight was inside the pool.
Is it over with?
No, it's not. And I know that all the other cops are busy, so I was just wondering if you guys can get anybody else out here.
And when you say large fight, how many people are we talking?
Probably about 7 or 8.
All males?
Yes. I'll run out there and try and grab someone, but...
Okay, any weapons that you can see?
No weapons.
All right, hang on a second, okay?
Thank you.
The right to free speech continues to raise many questions for students and staff. Students crossing the plaza encounter public speakers almost daily, but not everyone is happy about it. Religious demonstrators have sparked a number of arguments from students. CSU says that as a public university, free speech must be exercised.
It means the ability to freely communicate ideas that may or may not be part of the main line of thought.
Speakers are allowed to share their beliefs around campus without notifying authorities. Individuals cannot disrupt classes if they choose to do so.
Tuesday, a local branch of the financial planning company Waddell & Reed brought a World War I event to campus, honoring the company's founders, donating proceeds to the CSU Alumni Association, and stirring the hearts of visitors. Take a look. There's something about the past.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Bill Pearson.
My husband is a Vietnam veteran.
That brings people together again, to honor, to reminisce, to share.
A lot of interesting facts about the soldiers themselves, the history of why the United States entered the war.
I think it's definitely a generational thing. It's the older crowd that comes through that maybe had lost one of their parents during World War I. That's where the emotions really arise. But on the education side, getting some of the younger individuals in here and getting them to learn more about World War I.
Here for one day only, the Honoring Our History Tour drew students and community members alike.
We're expecting 500 to 1,000 people today, which would be great. It's nice to have those kind of numbers come through here, benefit CSU, benefit the World War I Museum as well.
In its 75-city tour across the country, the exhibit journeys from coast to coast in memory of the thousands of U.S. veterans whose travels didn't always bring them home. The exhibit will continue touring the country into 2012.
Well, August was a month of record temperatures. After the break, Melanie Rose will let us know how hot it actually got.
And we'll give you the insight on this year's homecoming theme. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, look at this. Whoa! Is that your time machine?
No, Levi, don't! The door's still open!
Today is my day.
Two from the three. Cornet left side through at the 5-yard line. Join me for all the highlights and game analysis on the Ram Report with head coach Steve Fairchild. Coach Tom Hilbert and players from CSU Volleyball will join us on every show. Catch all the Ram action every week on CSU TV, Channel 11 Comcast here in Fort Collins.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money.
Hey guys, my name is Eugene Daniels and I am the host of the brand new TV show, Daniels After Dark here on Channel 11. And we have our series premiere coming up on Friday at 8 p.m. We have Black Press, CSU rapper here as a showcase, and you don't want to miss it. He has a great performance for you guys, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to CTV News. I'm Melanie Rose with your Wednesday weather forecast. Although Hurricane Irene fell short of the doomsday predictions, the aftermath still affects residents over the East Coast. The rivers continue to rise, and Irene caused about 6 inches to a foot of rain to many towns along the shore. But on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, Colorado is sunny and staying dry. The semester jumped off to a hot and humid start with highs of over 100 degrees. The month of August is actually breaking records. It is the hottest it has ever been for the past 140 years. As you see here, the upper level ridge will continue to keep hot air over Colorado, keeping the temperatures within the mid-90s. Luckily, the heat will cool down just in time for this Labor Day weekend with temperatures in the lower 80s. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Wednesday, we saw mostly sunny skies with highs of 95. Later on into the night, we will see a slight chance of showers with a low of 60 degrees. Then Thursday will be slightly more humid with a 10% chance of afternoon storms, reaching a high of 93 degrees. Continuing on with lows of 55 into the evening, a cold front Friday morning and into Saturday will cool things off a bit for a high of around 78 degrees. Going into Sunday, the skies will be mostly sunny with a high of 79. Then just in time for Labor Day, it will be mostly sunny with the highs of 86, making it a perfect day for an afternoon at the park. Although make sure you bring an umbrella for the slight chance of rain into Monday night and on to Tuesday. This is all the time I have for you today. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Melanie. Speaking of Hurricane Irene, Washington politicians are at a crossroads. Federal emergency agents are questioning their ability to pay for damages from Hurricane Irene. Rescuers are still freeing victims from floodwaters, but the budget crisis earlier this month is slowing down recovery efforts. FEMA's Disaster Relief Fund has less than $800 million ready. This may run out by the end of September. Republicans want spending cuts to make up for costs. Democrats want to end political disputes and take immediate action. Nearly 120 of CSU's registered student organizations took over the plaza today. I was there to see what the Involvement Expo had to offer. Let's take a look. Inline hockey, crew, slice, triathlon, cycling, and even logging teams were just a few clubs recruiting on the plaza today.
We need a lot more competitors. We have to have a certain amount to compete. We need girls definitely to come out and compete with us. It helps us do certain events and advance as a team. And logging sports is kind of a dying sport. It's not too many people know about it, so it's good to get out and let people know what we do to keep the sport alive.
Educational organizations were also a huge part of the Involvement Expo.
So our club is basically, our purpose is to educate Fort Collins businesses, residents, and also our club members about the Colorado Big Thompson Project and how we get water from the west slope to the east slope, because 80% of our water falls on the west slope.
The busy expo attracted many curious new students to see what exactly CSU has to offer.
Because I've been wanting to get involved with clubs, just kind of to meet people and, I don't know, see what's out there and kind of get a feel for it.
Regardless of who participated, the tradition of high energy and excitement continued to rock the plaza again this year.
It's pretty overwhelming, you know, because there's so many. It's like, how can I go and see them all? But I don't know, it's exciting. There's a lot of noise, so everyone's energy is really high.
To meet more of CSU's outgoing organizations such as Greek Life, come to day 2 of the Involvement Expo tomorrow from 10 to 3.
Well, here's an interesting one. With the start of school, the CSU Student Rec Center has issued a new rule. Students can now work out shirtless. Before now, students were allowed to play basketball and other activities without shirts, but now male students can go shirtless and female students can wear sports bras in all areas of the facility. Knew you're going to like that one.
Well, that is great news. But big news about this year's Family Weekend celebration was announced on Wednesday. The CSU Presidential Ambassadors unveiled Get Your Green On as this year's theme. Homecoming this year will be September 29th through October 2nd and will include annual events such as the lighting of the A, a 5K walk and run, and of course the football game against San Jose State.
Coming up on sports, Ryan Hillman and Andrew Morgan are in the studio to break down this year's football season and what Ram fans can expect from the gridiron.
We'll be right back.
And you look heavier. I know. It's the best. It adds about 10-15 pounds on me.
C'est pas un prénom. Mais deux. Il va falloir trouver.
Wow! Is that your time machine?
Yeah.
When I was 7 years old, I had a dog that was playing with grasshoppers that were jumping around that had been sprayed with an organophosphate.
Commander Daniels, where's your wingman, son?
Dead, sir.
You know how this looks.
I did not violate the rule of engagement. Check my logs.
The only known symptoms of this horrible disease is spontaneously bursting into song, and for some, breaking into dance in the final hours of their life.
Colorado State University is committed to expanding access to education. Today, that includes online learning. CSU brings faculty and programs to students around the state and around the world. With flexibility to earn a degree online from a world-class university, and the ability to balance education with work and family. Learn more at succeedwithcsu.org.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to CTV. I'm Ryan Hillman with your sports update, and alongside me tonight is college football guru Andy Morgan of CCS. And Andy, tonight we are giving Ram Country a special report on Rams football. This season, the Rams have a lot of pressure on them. Back-to-back 3-9 seasons is unacceptable here in Fort Collins. How is the season going to play out, Andy?
Well, basically, the way I see it, I think the schedule stacks up favorably for CSU. They go to UNM this weekend, of course. They come back home against UNC and Ag Day, a big game there before the Rocky Mountain Showdown, and then a couple games before they get into that Boise State game, which will be a tough one to win. But really, I see a bunch of winnable games for the Rams, and I see 8 games that they could potentially win. So 6 games and getting back to a bowl game is definitely not out of the realm of possibility, and I think it's something that this team should expect and drive for this coming season.
That's what I like to hear. All right, Pete Thomas, no longer a freshman, now a household name. How's the season going to be this year?
I think he's got to take another step forward, and he had a good season last year, but he had his fair share of struggles, don't get me wrong, but anytime you're mentioned in the same sentence as Peyton Manning, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of him.
Yes, I have.
A good one, definitely a good one to be mentioned in the same sentence. He actually broke Peyton Manning's completion percentage record in 1994 that Peyton Manning set for true freshmen. So really what I think it's going to boil down to for Pete Thomas is a lot of those dink and dunk passes aren't going to work this year. We're going to need to be able to run the football and make this offense a little more two-dimensional, stretch the field, and be able to go deep down the field and stretch the field like I was saying.
Alrighty, who's going to be the stud running back this year?
I think it's going to be a combination of both Raymond Carter and Chris Woke. And, both of those guys are definitely good backs, and I think they're going to go with that 2-back system at least to start the year. And I think that Raymond Carter is going to get the majority of those carries, at least early on in the season, just because of the fact that he is the senior.
Right.
But Chris Woke, he's going to get his fair share of opportunities, don't get me wrong.
Right.
And especially, just looking at, I think Chris Woke is one of your big-time home run hitters on the offensive side of the ball. What he was able to do last year as a freshman was definitely impressive, and I see him being the home run threat on the offense, and I see him kind of taking some carries away from Raymond Carter, at least towards the end of the season. But look for both of those guys to be running the football, but it's all going to start up front. And that's going to be where the Rams are going to, try to improve this season now that they got that experience.
Exactly. The offense is returning 6 of the 11 players from last year, and 4 of those are on the O-line.
Continuity. We got some continuity.
Exactly. Alrighty, on to defense now. We are returning 4 starters from last year. An interesting fact, the defense gave up more than twice as many points as the offense scored last season. That's never good.
No, never good.
All right.
Switch that up.
Who's the player that's going to be outstanding this year? Shine.
I think you're looking at basically Michael Sisson and Micah Rackbaugh. Both of those guys play outside linebacker, and I say that just basically because we're a little thin in the middle. You graduate a guy like Guy Miller, who is a defensive tackle. You graduate Ricky Brewer, who's a middle linebacker. Both of those guys are gone, so they're a little thin in the middle, so they're going to be creative in how they use Michael Sisson, who led the country in forced fumbles last year, and also Micah Rackbaugh, who had one heck of a season last year as a freshman. So he's coming back as a sophomore, and they're going to be very versatile with what they do. You could see a Rackbaugh dropping back into coverage. You can see him getting around the edge and rushing the quarterback. I think Larry Kerr and that defense is going to be very, very opportunistic in the way that they use this defense.
Will we see some more helmet flying tackles? I hope we do.
I sure hope so. That was definitely one for the highlight reel.
You betcha. Alrighty, last question of the night that everyone wants to know, Andy. What is our record going to be, and will we be at a bowl game?
Man, this is a tough question. Like I said at the beginning, I see 8 wins on our schedule. 8 games that I think are very, very winnable, but at the same time, this is a young core of players. I could see them dropping a game, maybe 2 that they maybe shouldn't have dropped. And that still puts us, though, at 6 wins. This team's got to get to a bowl game, and that's really Steve Fairchild's driving point right now is to get to the bowl game. Otherwise, he could be in some deep trouble at the end of the season.
Well, it should be an exciting season, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for coming on set, Andy.
Thanks for having me.
Let's take it back on the desk with Kelly and Lena.
Thanks, guys. That's all we have for our show tonight. Don't forget to check us out on our Facebook page. You can write on our wall with suggestions and news tips.
You can even follow us on our Twitter page where we post daily campus news updates. Get updates sent directly to your phone by texting follow CTV11 to 40404. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Students are responsible for all CTV content, therefore they bear responsibility for the decisions they make. CTV is not an official program of Colorado State University, but is produced by an independent, nonprofit corporation using the name CTV pursuant to a license granted by CSU.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money.